we very much appreciate that Silas Bronson Library and Dana as well, Dana Luciano, has welcomed us to present today. I did want to share that UConn Extension has a variety of learning resources, opportunities for the public, and most of these are free. And UConn Extension is associated with the Healthy Homes Partnership. You probably see the small icon in the right part of your bottom right corner of your screen. And this is a group of educators from land-grant universities around the United States. And we work together with agencies such as NIFA and also HUD, Housing and Urban Development, to conduct Healthy Homes educational programs. We've been doing so for a few decades. And you may also want to look on Facebook and Twitter on the UConn website in order to learn more about UConn Extension. And we do have a dedicated page for COVID-19 with a lot of different resources, things for children, for parents, a lot of different articles related to COVID-19 that you might be interested in. These are the 8 Healthy Homes principles that were designated by Housing and Urban Development Department. And they are to keep it dry, keep it clean, safe. You want to keep your home ventilated, pest-free and contaminant-free, and well-maintained and temperature controlled. And when you consider all these, and you try to keep either your house or apartment, and you observe these principles, this will help to create a healthy home. And when you have a healthy home, it helps to support the health of the people who live there. And certainly with the pandemic, people are spending more time inside their homes. And it's important to keep your home not only clean, but also disinfected and safe, so you can hopefully avoid spreading the COVID-19 virus. Now, it's possible if you have to venture out that you may be in contact with people not only inside but outside your home. And it's very important to maintain a daily and weekly cleaning and disinfecting routine in order to keep those in your home safe. This is a site, it's a little less common now, that we saw early on in the pandemic when a lot of the stores were out of cleaning and disinfecting products. But should this ever happen again, what's key is to read the label and to know what task the product is designed for, the surfaces that you need to use it on, and how to use it safely. So by using it safely, you would want to certainly wear gloves when using these chemical products, and you would want to measure and use them as they are intended to be used. Hand washing with soap and clean water is the best way to keep your hands clean. And if you have no access to soap and clean water, then we can use hand sanitizer or wipes. And if you do decide to use a hand sanitizer, it's preferable to purchase those that are commercially made and are approved for use. The FDA has, though, a list of hand sanitizers made with methanol. And if you see methanol on the label of a hand sanitizer, I suggest you do not use that. I would safely dispose of it. People have gotten burns from some of these. So those that are made in a factory are commercially controlled, and it's very hard to duplicate that when measuring at home. Safe sanitizers, they're made with either ethyl alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, or benzalkonium chloride, and they're in the right proportion so that the solution is not too strong for your skin. Now, if you have young children, you should always supervise them so they don't overuse it or possibly get it in their eyes or don't ingest it. Certainly, if you have young children at home, I would store these where the children definitely cannot access them. Young toddlers, for instance, don't understand necessarily what is safe and is unsafe. So you wouldn't want them ever to get a hold of it and become ill. And I know we're trying to leave things out to make it a little more, to remind ourselves almost, but if you do have young children in the house, you need to be sure those are under lock and key. Now here, of course, is our hand wipes. And what I've noticed is that we're going into supermarkets, different types of stores, and you might see a wipe. And it's good to know whether that is a surface cleaning wipe. For instance, if you chose to wipe the handle of a carriage, and surface wipes, even if you use them at home, are to clean surfaces, not your hands. Whereas a hand wipe is a much milder solution, and it does not have chemicals that would injure your hands. So be aware when you're choosing wipes, which ones that you're using, and that it's for the right task or just cleaning your hands. And if you do have a homemade recipe, generally avoid it. But if you just don't have access like we did early on in the pandemic, then you would need to use hand sanitizer that is made from at least 60% alcohol. Usually the other chemicals I mentioned previously, most people would not have access to those. But it's generally better to go with one that is commercially made. For hand hygiene, household members should follow normal preventative actions if you have to go out of the house, be it to work or to do shopping or get gas in your car, that type of any kind of task, transportation. And you should follow recommended hand hygiene. And one of the keys is to avoid touching your face, touching your eyes, your nose, or your mouth. This is how, if you touch a surface, and you can potentially transmit COVID-19 to yourself in this manner. I will share that it is definitely less common because the primary, at this point from our scientific research, the primary way in which people catch it is through respiratory droplets. If you're sneezing or coughing or talking, that is the way that you would tend to catch it. And it's also key to wear a mask that is a clean mask. And I do suggest to people for hand hygiene, if you're out and then you come back into your house, the first thing I do after putting down, if you have groceries or backpack or bag, put that down and then wash your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds with warm water and soap, and dry them carefully before you start unpacking groceries. And then I do suggest that after you unpack everything, put it away, I would wash your hands again. And certainly before eating or preparing food when you've had contact with pets, or if you were providing routine care for another person in your household who needs assistance, such as a child, for instance. Remind your family members to do so as well. One thing, of course, that is a new thing we are seeing a lot of in the United States is our masks. And you should have a storage system for your dirty masks and your clean masks. And it is suggested that if you have a used mask, you keep a plastic bag so that if you come in, you've been outside, you've been around throughout the day, you come in, you want to put that dirty mask somewhere, put it in a plastic bag so you'll know where it is and you're positive that that's the place where those that will need to be cleaned. Also, you should have a system for after you wash and thoroughly dry your mask to put it in a paper bag so that you don't confuse those that are clean with those that are dirty. And if you have multiple household members, you might even want to write their name on the paper bag. And if you use masks, you should wash them daily. And they can either be washed by hand or in your washing machine with detergent and soap. And you can dry them in the dryer. You should use hot water, ideally, whether you wash them by hand or by the washing machine. And it's good if you're going to dry them. I often will put them in there's nylon bags you can purchase, and there's zipper bags that you can use in your laundry. And that way they aren't stuck to other pieces of clothing. It's easy to find them. And they're probably in better shape than they would be if they were circulating throughout your whole laundry. And as well, dry those masks in a dryer that's as hot as you can safely for the fabric that's recommended. Or in the summer, you could hang them outside in direct sunlight, which is preferable. And if you do have allergies, though, I would not hang them outside when we have pollen or lots of leaves because you don't want your mask to have something that will cause you to sneeze a lot. And in that case, have a place where you hang them in your house to dry. This slide is courtesy of North Carolina State University. And cleaning is your first step in making your home a healthy place. Cleaning removes dirt, dust, and crumbs, some, but not all germs. And realize cleaning is good, but it will leave some things that sanitizing or disinfecting can destroy. Now, sanitizing, it destroys some bacteria and viruses on surfaces, but not the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which, of course, everyone wants to avoid. Disinfecting or destroys bacteria and viruses on surfaces, and it also will destroy those on the N list, like the letter N, which you'll see in the next slide. Those are effective at destroying the COVID virus. So you need to do a combination of cleaning and disinfecting. You clean first, then disinfect. And here is the N list. And this is designed by the Environmental Protection Agency. You can go right in on a link on your computer, or if you have access to the internet through your phone. And it has a very extensive list of disinfectants for use against SARS. And all the products are effective against coronavirus. And to find the product, and these are often in very tiny print if you're at the supermarket or a store purchasing it or online. And you can look for the EPA registration number. It usually has a series of numbers, and this is the registration number. And you are also seeing brands that you're perhaps been very familiar with for some years. And then you're seeing some new brands that are also being added to the end list. And all these, as I say, can be used to disinfect your home. And here's an example in the photo. If you go to the store, a lot of these, the EPA registration number, it's usually in very small print. You almost might need a magnifying glass in many cases to see it. But you only need to mix the amount needed that you would use of the disinfectant for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, the effectiveness of the disinfectant starts decreasing. And for instance, you could use 2 teaspoons of unexpired household bleach, regular bleach, added to 2 cups of water, or you can use 70% alcohol and water solution to disinfect, or whatever disinfectant you buy, read the label and follow the label. What I would recommend, if you need a gallon that day and you're doing lots of cleaning in your house, that might work. But if you should only make smaller amounts that you really need to use, ideally, and then you would discard that. And only mix that one disinfectant with water if it directs you to do so. Never mix 2 cleaning chemicals or disinfectants together, because you can have a very severe reaction, which could affect your breathing. And there have been times when it's fatal for people. So only mix the cleaning chemical with water if directed. This is a comparison. On your left side of your screen, you see COVID-19 disinfecting, and that is since this coronavirus has emerged, it is recommended to use a little stronger solution than you would use under regular disinfecting times prior to when we had the pandemic. And it is recommended that you use unexpired household bleach, just like a bottle of milk. Bleach has an expiration date. And if you go past the expiration date, the bleach has less effectiveness. And so you want to be sure it's bleach that is a date into the future. It's not a date in the past when you're using it on the bottle. And as you can see here, if you look on the left side of the chart down at the bottom, you can use 1 teaspoon of bleach to 1 cup of water to make a small amount to clean in your home. For regular disinfecting, you actually would have less. I take that back. You here would have less than a teaspoon, or 1.5 teaspoons, 2 cups of water. So that would be a lower amount. But you can use the 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of water. Bleach could certainly discolor some surfaces. That's a good question. You only can use bleach on surfaces that, not on any fabrics or things that have a color fast recommendation. In your, let's say with your laundry, I would only use the bleach with white types of materials. And bleach also comes in concentrations of 5.25% to 9%. And at this point, we are recommending through the Healthy Homes Partnership that you try to select bleach concentrations of 5.25 to 6%, because by doing that, it will work. But some of the bleach concentrations are now going higher up to 9%, and it's not necessary. But if you use these formulas as on the screen, you will be able to mix a small amount of bleached water as a disinfectant. For COVID-19 preventative measures, you always want to, when you're going to use cleaning products, wear gloves. It's that extra step that will protect your skin. And always wash your hands before you use cleaners and after you use cleaners. So as you can see here, you wash your hands, put your gloves on, use the cleaner, and then wash and dry your hands with fresh water afterwards, because the fresh water and soap will get any of the, if any residual chemical is possibly leaked through the glove, you want to take that off of your skin for your personal safety. When you look on bleach, don't assume all bottles of bleach are equal. Some bottles of bleach do not claim to be disinfectants. In other words, they don't have an EPA registration number. But make sure if the bottle of bleach has an EPA registration number, then it is safe to use and effective as a disinfectant. And again, your purchase disinfectants, you want to have that EPA registration number. That's very important. One of the things that's overlooked is when you clean and disinfect for safety, you want to have fresh air, if possible, in your home, because the fresh air will pull or draw the fragrance from a lot of the cleaners or disinfectants out. And many people have allergies or asthma and have allergic reactions to strong fragrances. So ventilation is key. And it's always good if you have like heat, central heat or air conditioning, to put it on the switch, not auto, so it will draw and pull the air and recirculate it outside. This is something that will make it less strong when you're doing any kind of cleaning. Always read the label and measure and use the product as directed. So if it says to measure a quarter cup, don't pour more than that in, or just randomly pour product into water. Measure it so you don't overuse the product. And one of the things that's a surprise often to people is, I think would be, is that a lot of people spray a product on a surface and immediately take a clean towel or a paper towel and they wipe the surface and think it's done. And that is not correct. There's something called contact time, which might be called dwell time, and it's usually 3 to 10 minutes for it to be totally effective. So you need to leave it on before you remove it and dry it. On some of it may start to dry naturally on its own. And if you have any other people in your family, this could be a safety issue. You want to be sure you let them know if you've washed an area and it's still wet, so they don't put anything on that surface or certainly walk across that surface. And do store products if you can. If you have children or adults with memory loss, it's important to store products where they couldn't accidentally get into them and spray it into their eyes. So some people also, with the good ventilation, they may have air purifiers. You can use those. Use whatever works for you that would be good. If you're in an area where you have a little kid who could possibly fall out the window, then you don't want to open the window. You want to be sure the child is protected and is safe. That's the only case where I would not recommend using ventilation, or perhaps when pollen counts are high if you have people with allergies. This is from the EPA. And as we mentioned, you want to be sure the disinfectant you're using is EPA approved. Read the directions. Pre-clean the surface with another product. let it sit for the contact time and wipe it off. Then you can use your disinfectant. And then before you start, wear gloves, eyewear, if you have some safety glasses, and wash your hands. And when you're done, lock it up. Don't leave any buckets around. A child could get into those in seconds. So you want to avoid having any of the chemicals splashed on your skin. And notice the person does have a fairly long shirt on. You can see from the back and the gloves. And this is recommended that you wear like long pants, closed shoes, or footwear. You don't want to wear sandals and shorts and a t-shirt because it can splash on your body. So try to have clothing that really covers your body when you're doing cleaning. Another thing that's important, before you can get to clean things, it's important to remove any kind of clutter or items that are in your way, so that if you wanted to clean, for instance, your table where you eat, take the items off so you can totally clean the table, or a microwave oven, as in this case, so that everything is removed and you can really be able to access all surfaces with sponge or a cleaning cloth or paper towel. And pay attention to any of those high-touch surfaces daily. And we have a lot in our home. So far, there's new research emerging. But here's what we've learned about COVID-19. When it's dark out, or nighttime conditions, they're similar to indoor conditions in your house. And when you have, as in the summer, sunlight, humidity, and higher temperatures like 74 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, this does help to inactivate the virus on surfaces and in the air. And you may have seen, certainly in Connecticut, the rates of infection went down in the summer because it is hotter, and certainly I think more people were using masks as well. And when the temperature and humidity is lower, similar to the winter at this time of year, and there's less sunlight, this impacts the survival of the virus. And, research is continually evolving on the survival of the virus on different types of surfaces. Frankly, I've read many studies, and I don't see one that is the pivotal one that I could absolutely recommend. Stainless steel tends to be a surface that other types of viruses have lasted a little longer on than others. But the key is, if you do regular cleaning and disinfecting in your home, then you will not have to be too concerned with having the virus on a lot of surfaces in your home. Now, soft touch surfaces like carpeted floors, upholstered furniture, rugs, or drapes, always look at the tag and follow the manufacturer's instructions for cleaning, and use the appropriate products. For instance, if you had a spot in a rug, you should purchase a rug cleaner that would be appropriate for that particular task. And oftentimes they do recommend you test the product on an inconspicuous part of the item. And some items that you can pick up, you could launder or dry clean, or you could use a steam cleaning machine to be used to clean carpeting. Actually, steam cleaning machines, many are designed to clean kitchen floors, and even those that are designed for a hard floor, oftentimes you don't have as much fragrance emitting from them. So they're good for people with allergic reactions. Now, high-touch surfaces, we could all go around our house and find them. And here you see like the handle going down the stairs, and you see the light switch. We could all think of things like our cell phones. If you use the phone every day, even just opening a trash can or closing it, all sorts of medicine containers. There are lots of different high-touch surfaces. And Sarah's going to talk about that in a few minutes. These are the things to clean and disinfect. This is the Safer Choice label. These are labels for unscented or fragrance-free products. So this, if you are aggravated by scents in your house, have allergic reactions, this would be the type of product to look for. Many people are concerned. They don't want to be breathing strong fragrances. So this would be the product for you to find on the label. And this includes cleaning, disinfecting, laundry, and even pest control products. And those you would, again, always follow the directions. Now, for people with asthma and sensitivities, asthma affects around 1 in 12 adults and 1 in 10 children in the United States. So it's pretty prevalent. And another thing that's very important is if you're choosing cleaning products, try to avoid using aerosol products and sprays because they can aggravate respiratory diseases such as asthma. And one person here has noted that they are looking for that seal in order to be able to not have a reaction, the safer product seal. And consider the disinfectants too that are safer for people with respiratory illnesses. Low fragrance is desirable. Fragrance-free is even better. But using the product with water and maybe wringing it out carefully and applying it is going to be safer than spraying things. Spraying is like dispersing it all through the air, and it will aggravate people in many cases. So if you have any family members in your home, look at the types of products that you do buy and how you use them. This also works too for using like oil. If you were to use cooking oil versus spray oils, you also, again, can be aggravating people by spraying things into the air. One of the easiest things you can do is to have more than one doormat to get into your house. And it's good to have one inside your door, right inside your door. Use mats to prevent dirt and contaminants from being trapped inside your home or apartment. Not too many people love to clean, and this will make cleaning easier because less is being tracked in and out of the house. And it's a good idea either to take your shoes off before walking inside, or as soon as you put if you're carrying things in, to put them down and have inside shoes or indoor shoes that are designated for inside the house and that you never wear outside. And believe it or not, this will save you having to do a lot of cleaning. And flooring without dirt and contaminants tracked in from outside is a healthier flooring because you could be tracking in not only dirt, you could be tracking in pollen and other contaminants that can aggravate people. Also for pets, if you have pets, it's good to wipe their paws if the pet goes out, comes back into the house. And for even when your pet or a toddler or people live in the house, sit or play games on the floor, watch TV, that type of thing, it's cleaner to have the floor when you have left the shoes outside the door. and routinely wash or clean flooring, have a schedule, and use the indoor mats. And I also have carpets inside my front door, and I periodically wash them in a washing machine. Now, if they have foam backing, you want to be sure you do not start any fires. Those you could hang to dry or put a fan on them to accelerate the drying process. And the next thing, my last slide here, will be to establish daily and weekly cleaning habits. And the areas that you use daily should be your priority to clean frequently. And we have a list, and it's important to have a list so you can consistently clean them, and to schedule time daily to pick things up and put them back before you start cleaning and disinfecting. And now Sara Tomas is our next guest speaker.
Thanks so much, Mary Ellen. So decluttering. Clutter can be a big problem for many of us in our homes, and it kind of builds up as we continue to add things to our home without removing any items. So decluttering your home can actually improve your efficiency, and it can reduce some of that stress that comes along with all these items. So when you're decluttering, try to make decisions about which items you would like to keep and how those items fit into your life. So when you're deciding if you'd like to keep or whether to donate or recycle an item, ask yourself if the item brings you joy, if you use it regularly, and if it is a necessity. And if the answer is yes to any of these questions, it is probably a good idea to keep that item in your house. If the answer is no to any of these questions or all of these questions, then it might be time to recycle or donate that item. And it's best to start with one area of your home and then move on to the next over time, as this can help to reduce that overwhelming feeling you get when you begin to declutter. Now, many of us have developed some sort of workspace or home office as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so it's really important to keep this area organized and clean, as it can really help to maximize your productivity and reduce any of those distractions that come along with having a disorganized workspace. So consider transferring any paper documents to electronic documents, and you can also regularly sort through those papers every day and keep only what you need. And this is going to reduce the amount of items that build up on your desk or workspace. You can also use vertical storage options and drawers, as well as bins and folders to really maximize all of that storage space and categorize all of those different things and items on your desk to keep it a little cleaner. It's also important to create an organizing routine. And if you do this daily or weekly, it can help you to keep on top of all of that cleaning and organizing to maintain a positive workspace. Children are also needing to develop some sort of workspace at home, be that to do homework after being in person at school, or if they are doing some sort of distance learning and virtual learning at home. So it's important to designate an area in your home for your child to work and keep all of their school items, as this builds a sense of ownership and responsibility of that space. So it's also important to find a place to keep backpacks and store those papers so that they're easily accessible for the child. Now, simplicity makes it easier for children to thrive, so it's important to eliminate any of those distractions within the work area. So this can include categorizing all of that schoolwork and consolidating any toys and items like pencils and pens the student uses to make it a lot easier for them to clean up and organize. And it's important to encourage children to tidy up their workspaces daily to keep it manageable for the child. Additionally, it is important to clean high-touch surfaces in this area daily, especially if the children are going back and forth from school to home when they are moving between distance learning and in-person learning. It can be very helpful to find ways for all household members to participate in healthy housekeeping, as it builds a lot of responsibility. So these are some age-appropriate chores that can help your child to build responsibility and ownership over your space as well. And it's important to kind of choose and select different chores based on that age range. So chore charts with stickers are an excellent motivator for the following age groups. So those can be a very useful tool when designating and making sure that the child is fulfilling those responsibilities. As the children get older, they can often help with more complex and increase the number of chores that they are assisting with around the house. And there are also a lot of fillable checklists that you can find online to help with this process and keep all of that designation very clear for each child. Now, good cleaning tools can help to make the cleaning process easier. So some positive cleaning tools would be a vacuum, a damp mop, and damp dusting. And you could also use paper towels, any freshly cleaned mops, and microfiber cloths and sponges can also help to make the process a lot easier. Now, a vacuum with a HEPA filter catches all the fine particles in the air and in the space, and so it's best for people with allergies or asthma to use a vacuum with a HEPA filter. If you're handling laundry from someone who is ill, it is important to take these special considerations. So it's important to wear gloves when handling any of that contaminated laundry so you don't transfer any of those germs and bacteria or viruses from those laundry items onto yourself. So it can be helpful to bring any of those contaminated clothing or items outside of your home and place them into a plastic bag to contain all of those germs. And then when you move the bag back inside your home and you're prepared to wash them, you can just take it right out of the bag and place it directly into the washing machine. It is very important not to shake any of these items or laundry, as it can help to distribute and disperse all of those germs into the air, which can in turn contaminate you and the surrounding area. So you should be laundering items based on your manufacturer's instructions. However, high heat is generally best to eliminate all of those different germs. So you should also wash your hands after handling any contaminated laundry, and be sure not to touch your face, your eyes, and your nose, your mouth after touching anything that has been contaminated. And you can also clean and disinfect the hamper in between using it for contaminated laundry and laundry that may not be contaminated to make sure you don't infect or cross-contaminate any items. Now, electronic devices often go outside of the home with us, and we use them very often throughout the day. And so these are high-touch items that are very important to pay attention to. So it's important to clean these very regularly, and you can especially clean your cell phones, as they can easily get contaminated all the dirt and bacteria from our hands, and then we are going to touch them to our face often for a call. So it might be also helpful to hold that cell phone away from your face when you are taking a call if you have not cleaned it very recently. So you should always be following manufacturer's instructions when you are cleaning your electronic devices to make sure that you don't cause any harm to the device. And you might also want to consider some wipeable covers for that, or cases for that device, to kind of protect it from any of the wear and tear that might come from using a harsh cleaning wipe or spray. So you want to make sure you don't spray any alcohol or cleaner directly onto the device. It's best to spray that onto a microfiber cloth or a paper towel and then wipe it down. And we recommend using a 70% alcohol wipe, as this most often is in line with the manufacturer's instructions, but be sure to keep those in mind as you go about cleaning those devices. Additionally, it's best to avoid sharing any electronics, but if you have to share those electronic devices, be sure to clean them before and after use to try to restrict the transmission of any germs that might be in your environment. And it's also important to clean any tables and surfaces that electronics like laptops are placed on. Now, we have put together a collection of references and resources to help you implement the concepts and tips that we've discussed in the previous slides. And so the first one that we have here is List N, which Mary Ellen talked about previously. And this links to the EPA website. And here you'll be able to learn more about the disinfectants that work to destroy SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that causes COVID-19. So you can use this tool to ensure that you are using the right disinfectants during the pandemic. Our third list is a linked item, goes to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, which is CDC. And this handout details proper cleaning, drying, and storage of masks to help keep you and your family healthy during the pandemic. And the last two links bring you to our UConn Healthy Homes website, where you can find a variety of resources and fact sheets that can help you to maintain a healthy home. So the following resources and handouts are also found on this website, and I'll put that link in the chat as well. So our first handout details the 8 principles of a healthy home, and this contains information from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and it particularly pertains to details that will help you identify components of a healthy home and how to improve on those different components. Now, this is a handout that Mary Ellen also talked about previous in the presentation, and this can help you to stay safe when you're using disinfectants around your home. So it may be helpful to print out this fact sheet and place it in an area either close to your disinfectants or somewhere that you know you'll be able to look at as you prepare to disinfect surfaces around your house. This next handout goes over a list of common high-touch surfaces in each area or room in your home. And so it can really get you thinking about all of these different things that we touch throughout the day. So in the kitchen, that might include the coffee maker or the refrigerator or the oven. And it also contains different information for product selection, as well as safety and efficiency tips for cleaning and disinfecting. This next handout is a personalizable template for creating daily and weekly routines. So it's very important to establish a routine, and you might also have different days for doing different things, or you might designate different chores and cleaning routines to different members of your household. So this template can be printed out multiple times, and you can organize it based on those different routines and based on those different household members. And it can really help to keep you organized and on top of your cleaning. And this next handout is information regarding caring for electronics. So it also helps you to identify some general cleaning tips that can help you when you're caring for your electronics. And it also identifies some key electronics and electronic accessories that should be cleaned frequently, as you can see right here. And all of this other information can be found on the HUD website and the CDC website, and also on that link that I'm going to place in the chat soon that will take you to our UConn Healthy Homes website. And now Mary Ellen is going to be sharing a little bit more about our optional feedback form.
We want to thank you for attending today. And we also have some questions. They are completely optional. You can choose to answer them or choose not to answer them. And we have a form, and the feedback form asks you, if you choose to do it, to list your town. And we have, what did you learn today? You use this information to have a healthier home. And if you will share it with others, and about how many. And if you have any suggestions for us. And it can be emailed to me at mary.welch@uconn.edu. And your participation to answer all or some of the questions or none is completely optional, but it does help us to get some feedback. And we'd like to thank you and thank the Silas Bronson Library and Becky as well for assisting with us today.
To access the documents referred to in this program, visit healthyhomes.uconn.edu. Other references and resources from this program are included in this slide as well. If you would like more information about this program or any other Silas Bronson Library program, please call 203-574-8225 or visit us at bronsonlibrary.org. Thank you for watching.